They say listen for 1,000 hours. Some people say start speaking from day one. After 5 years of me learning Spanish, let me tell you what I think will actually get you to fluency. Make sure you stay to the end because we are going to debunk a lot of the myths. Stephen Krashen is actually the one who introduced the input theory, this guy right here. His belief is, well, actually, let him tell you his belief.
And now I'm going to share with you the most important thing I have learned about language. Probably the best kept secret in the profession. We acquire language in one way and only one way, when we understand messages. We call this comprehensible input. We acquire language when we understand what people tell us, not how they say it, but what they say, or when we understand what we read. Comprehensible input, in my opinion, has been the last resort of the language teaching profession. We've tried everything else. We've tried grammar teaching, drills and exercises, computers, etc. But the only thing that seems to count is getting messages you understand, comprehensible input.
Then we have the famous Dreamin' Spanish. You guys know I kind of dig Dreamin' Spanish. Pablo is the owner of Dreamin' Spanish, and he agrees with Stephen's method. So according to the roadmap, you should get about 1,000 hours of inputs before you start speaking. I have heard that kind of changed over the years to maybe 600 hours of inputs before you start doing speaking activities. So I love Dreaming Spanish, but I actually have some thoughts about that roadmap. I have a lot of thoughts about that roadmap, but then you have guys like him who thinks it's an absolute complete waste of time.
Why do you keep saying that dreaming Spanish is a waste of time? I keep saying it because people keep asking me about it, and that is my honest opinion. Dreaming Spanish is a massive waste of time because it's extremely slow and time consuming, it's very passive, there's no speaking practice, and there's no feedback.
If you are enjoying this video so far, go ahead and hit that like button so that YouTube know that I'm not still talking to myself. Actually, I kind of am talking to myself, but I know you're over there. Like, I know you're on the other side. So what is my honest opinion after 5 years of being a Spanish learner? This may surprise you as much as I'm always like, comprehensible input, you guys. I really feel like people spend entirely too much time on comprehensible input. Yep, I said that. As much as I preach, start comprehensible input. I never said only do comprehensible input. That's insane to just listen your entire journey when your goal is to speak Spanish and to communicate, right? And so I think with everything in life, you have to take the parts that apply to you and leave the rest. You don't have to wait until you get to 1,000 hours to start speaking. That makes almost no sense. And I know a lot of people is going to say, oh, but this method and this professor and this research and this. Listen, it makes no sense to listen to something for 1,000 hours and not produce output. You could find yourself listening for 2,000 hours and being like this guy.
Exactly. Pero ¿dónde? ¿Dónde está el baño, señor?
Creo que nos queda un poco más claro el nivel 7. Entendemos que es simplemente una referencia y que no es real, que este roadmap.
Exactly. I'll keep you posted at 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 hours to see if I feel like I'm there. But some things just aren't going to happen. My accent is not going to disappear. I'm not going to know how to pronounce R's without actually training my mouth. Yeah, there's some things that I think I'll have to work at that won't happen no matter how much input I get.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Sonny, are you boldly going against Dr. Stephen and Dreaming Spanish method? Absolutely not. I think the method is genius. I think it makes a lot of sense to listen to the language, to feel the emotion of the language. But I also think it makes a lot of sense to actually start speaking the language if that's your goal. To put that amount of time into something without producing energy doesn't make sense to me. They just listen and listen and listen and listen and research and research and research and research. But I'm not going to actually just research. I'm going to apply action. Yes, you will get a lot of information. What are you doing with it? It's so cool to sit there and watch all these amazing people speak in Spanish. When are you speaking? You're just sucking it in. You're like a sponge. You're just taking it in, taking it in, taking it in, taking it in. Produce something out. So let's say you only had 2 hours a week to spend on Spanish. I would listen for 1 hour and I would speak for 1 hour, right? And I will always do a little bit each day. So I would listen to something for 10 minutes in Spanish and I would speak for 10 minutes, even if I'm speaking to myself. Another reason that speaking early on is important is because you have to structure your mouth. Okay, and that's not something that you can do overnight. The sounds of Spanish is different than the sounds in English. There are letters and sounds that don't exist in English, like the R, por ejemplo. See, when you are speaking, you are relating that sound to your brain. Okay, your brain already knows the sound from listening to so much comprehensible input, but now you have to output. So there's energy in your voice. There's vibrations in your voice. And so the first time you may say something, you can say, that sounded awful, right? Like that wasn't even close. The more you practice, you will get the natural rhythm of the sound of Spanish. It will naturally start to produce the words better. That takes time as well. Like, for example, your mouth, when you speak in Spanish, your mouth has to almost smile. It has to like almost be at a full open space when you're speaking. I know this sounds crazy, right? It's not a lot of words that I say that are very broad and open. But in Espanol, it's a more open space to pronounce the words properly. That comes with speaking. Like, all of it comes with speaking. Getting better, making mistakes, facing your fears. It all comes with speaking. And just sitting there watching Spanish all day, I'm going to tell you, it's wasting time, because you can be productive. You can listen and speak and get yourself there twice as fast. If you ever want to practice speaking and you don't have anyone to practice with, I have an entire Spanish speaking group, and we practice once a week with native Spanish teachers. So we learn grammar, have conversation, we laugh and joke and have such a good freaking time speaking Spanish. We have beginner and intermediate classes, and we have availability 5 days a week. So if this is something that may interest you, the link is in the description. If you want to get a little bit deeper into this adult versus children learning method, I highly advise you to check this video out over here, where I really went in depth with those little suckers, them children, what they have over us and what we have over them being an adult learning a language. Nos vemos pronto. Ciao.